and welcome to this week's Make a Card Monday. This is our third week now that we are casing, so copy and sharing everything, as CASE stands for, something from the catalogue. So this is on page 42. We're going to be casing this card here. Very simple, very beautiful, love it. So page 42, and it uses the bundle A Little Lace. So A Little Lace is the stamp set there, so let's bring that into view there. And then you've got these beautiful stitched die, and you literally get, you can see I've been using this quite a lot, it's got a few colours in it, this beautiful die here, and then you get this piece here which cuts away the bottom. So you could have a square if you like, a square, rectangle, whatever, but you can also have a scalloped bottom as well, which you can see there, which is what we're going to be doing today. Oh, she says yes, no. Okay, so let's get started, shall we? So this is one of the reasons I do this, is to share with you obviously what they've used, but also what colours they've used, how they've done it, and things like that as well. So to get started, we've got half a sheet of A4, so it's not A5 because it's not that way, but A4 just cut in half the long ways, and we're going to be using it that way. So as usual, I don't score my cards particularly, I just make sure the corners match, that matches, and then I grab one of my bone folders and just do that. And I've always found that works for me, because if you score and you're a millimetre out or something, you end up with a bit poking down the end. So that is Pretty Peacock, that colour there. Then the first thing we're actually going to do is the sentiment at the bottom. So here is the sentiment. Now this is actually embossed with white embossing powder. So it's a powder that we heat, and then we add, then it turns to, oh, what am I saying? The powder melts and it turns into a raised, that's what the embossed is, it turns into a raised sentiment there. So we use an ink pad with a rhinestone on called a Versamark ink pad. It's actually called a watermark stamp pad. So this is just a sponge ink pad that actually, it's glycerin, so it's sticky. So it means that it takes a little while to dry. It means that fine powders stick to it, and that is what we're going to use. So this says just a little note to say hello, and so we're just going to dab this as we would do a normal ink pad, and do that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use my grid paper to make sure that I've got this as in the middle as I kind of can be, I hope. She says one, that's about it. And then I'm going to stamp down. Now you will see. Can you see that? So if I was to touch that, that would be sticky. But you can see it's called a watermark ink pad because it leaves that watermark like that. And you could leave it like that and it would stay like that. It would take a little bit longer to dry than a normal ink pad, but it would be fine as it is. But it's sticky at the moment, and I probably want to just put a bit of scrap paper under there. So this is white embossing powder, very fine embossing powder. You could tip the whole lot over, you don't have to worry about it, because what's going to stick is going to stick, and what's not going to stick is not going to stick. So I will sit there, and then what I tend to do is tap off, and I give it, you can see, I don't know if you can see, a few grains there, so I give it a good flick. And if there's any stray bits, I normally use a paintbrush or something to get rid of them. And you can use what we call an embossing buddy beforehand. That will kind of get rid of any oil or anything, so that any of the powder doesn't stick elsewhere as well. But you can see there, so we've got our sentiment, and we've now got powder sticking to it, white powder. And you can leave that for a little while. You don't have to heat it immediately. So if you're doing multiple cards, let's just pour that back into there. There we go. So that's all ready for next time, you see, and you've used just a fraction of the powder. So yes, all the time this is wet and sticky, and the powder's sticking to it, it's fine. If you were to leave it overnight, you probably would come back the next morning and the powder might be might fall off if you haven't heated it. So you don't have to heat it immediately, but you do need to heat it in the next half an hour or so, I would say. So we then get our heat gun, which I've managed to put away because I don't have electricity here. But what we would do, pretend this is my heat gun. Here we go, this is my heat gun. Zzz. Now, some heat guns can be really strong, and so if you kind of do it across the top, you can blow some of the powder away. So I tend to start by putting the heat underneath the card. And as I say, if I had more electrics over here, then I could heat this and actually show you how it does. But heat gun, just heat it under there and watch it. You will see it change. You will see the powder melt into liquid form. And as soon as it's melted, that's it. Don't keep standing there melting it, because you could burn it. So as soon as it's melted and you'll see it, it'll be noticeable, and then just keep going along until the whole lot is melted. And I have done a blue Peter. Here's one I've done earlier. Well, she says that. I did have one. Here's we made earlier. What have I done with it? There it is. So there we go. So you can see, I don't know if you can see, let's have a look. You can see the difference there. So that's the powder, and that's when it's melted. And that is now, if I run my finger along that, just embossed, just raised wording, which is nice. It's posh, it's great. Love it. So it doesn't smudge or anything. Now it's there, it's melted, and it's good to go. But you can see the difference there. So that is our sentiment done. Next, we're going to go on to our main background piece. So this is the die. So if you're not familiar with dies and die cutting, dies are normally now these kind of sheets of metal, and they can be in various shapes, patterns and all sorts. So this is a very intricate die. You can see all of the dots that it's got to push out and cut. So I would recommend that you put it through your die cutting machine various times, and put it through a couple of times like that, a couple of times like that, even at a sort of angle a little bit as well, just to make sure that when you push it through, you can see every single bit has cut out. So here's one I did earlier, and I haven't peeled it off yet, but you can see there's no bits that it hasn't cut as such. And then you need to just get something sharp and just start peeling. She says, might get me, where's my, oh, tweezers are good. Tweezers are always good. There we go, we're off. And you just need to peel it. Now you may find, depends how good or bad your, you know I'm going to go into trouble now, don't you, doing this live on camera. It was absolutely fine when I did it before. Please don't tear, please don't tear. Some people will put wax paper in between this, and I would say that's not necessarily a bad idea. So this can be a little bit fiddly, but personally, I think it's absolutely worth it for the effect that you get, because I think the piece is so beautiful that it's worth it. Honestly, it's not as hard as I'm making it look. Come on. Please, 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 please. There we go. We've got it. Please. Oh, oh, oh. Just that last little bit. And once you've got it and it's off, you're good to go. It's just because it's so intricate. There we go. I've got it underneath. Right. Okay. And so just peel it away. There we go. There we go. Now we've got a good hook on it. And I had a team training event yesterday, and we cut like over 100 of these out. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's misbehaving itself sometime. Now, one thing I would kind of say, so if you have one of these die cutting roll, oh, see, look, it's already going. I would, before I even took it off, do this. Can you see all those bits that are popping out already? Because you can be as rough as you like with this. Nice and right, la, la, la. And you can see, let's put that back up there, all the bits that are popping off just by doing that. So it gets a lot of those bits out. So you don't have to sit and pop them all out. See, look. I'm just going to keep peeling so you get an idea. So this is how you get your rectangle. Oh, there we go. Now I would do a better job of this. Look, come on, what a mess I've made. What a mess I've made. Oh dear, we were doing it with all the in colours. Can you see all the colours in there? I don't know if you can. Hopefully you can. But we're going white this time. So it looks like to me like the, is it Broider Anglais? The very, very beautiful lace. And you can go through this and you can flick it and you can pick them and you can poke them out. If you are having to poke them out, then my suggestion would be, because I was sitting there doing this and I was poking it against my finger, but actually if you put your point on the bit you want to do and lift it up, it means that it's removed completely and you can poke out those holes. Whereas when I was just going like this, it was just poking it and it was still attached. So you want to, so if I'm doing that bit, put it right in the middle, lift it up. Put it right in the middle, lift it up. Right in the middle, lift, because then it's completely detaching rather than just making it go one way. And you just need to go around all that. Good luck with that. It is worth it. It is beautiful. But say it's one of the most intricate dies that I have ever come across. So it is going to take a little bit of work and a little bit of patience, but worth it in the end. Now, hopefully you can see. So let's bring that up. Well, hey. So this is the other piece that comes in the die collection, and so I'm looking at these circular bits here, and there we go. If I put that like that, you can see how perfectly that cuts it out. So once you've got all your holes out, then put it back through your Big Shot or die cutting machine with this bit, and you want to line it up like that. So hopefully you can see that really clearly. And then, because I have done here's the one I made earlier, Blue Peter style. Look at that. It cuts, let's put it against that. There you go. So it cuts out a beautiful scalloped bottom, and I've kept the top as it is. I've poked out all the holes, and literally, because I think, I'm not going to do it with glue, I'm going to do it with a snail glue. Oh, have I got a snail glue? Yes, I have got a snail glue. Because I don't think the glue's going to actually show... Oh, it's run out. No. Okay, Tombow it is then. So I'm just going to put little dots of Tombow in the big... Anywhere there's a big piece of card, so it will stick it down. So in fact, going on those 4 corners of each of those circles, and that will make sure that it's all stuck down nicely. You could just do the few corners and the middle, but it's all good. There we go, I think that's pretty much it. So back on my card here, so this goes right up to the top, so trim it as you need to, and it depends on how big a piece you want to be showing at the bottom where you've stamped your sentiment. But look at that. I just can't get over how beautiful that is. And as I say, I think it's worth the effort of sitting flicking all those bits out, because I just think it's beautiful. And it's just such a simple card. And we haven't finished yet. But even that on its own, what's not to love about that? Bit of ribbon tied, job done. But right, so let's go through. So we have a heart. So the terracotta tile is what we've used here. And just the heart from the stamp set, stamped on. You need 3 of them. I've already done 2. Here's 2 I made earlier. And I'm just cutting those out by hand. It's a heart, so it's not too bad. It's got a stitch around the outside, so I've kind of got a guide as to how I'm cutting. And top tip with cutting is always move the card, not the scissors. So you can see it's the card I'm actually moving, the scissors, apart from the actual cut, are staying stationary. I'm not moving those at all, other than just to squeeze them so that they cut. And just round that. So you need to stamp 3 of those. There we go, that'll do. And you need to add a dimension to the back. There's 2 I did earlier. Oh, no, I did stamp 1 out there, that's why it's done it like that. Okay, so they have put their hearts. Here comes the tweezers. One kind of there, which is quite nice. One, and you can put them wherever you like. But notice that they've done an odd number, always odd numbers. So they've kind of gone there, I think. I mean, obviously their detail will be slightly different to mine. I'm sure we didn't put it exactly the same. And then slightly higher up there. Up here? It is slightly higher up there, I think. There we go. Okay. Then we've got some sequins. So they have used the woven thread sequins assortment. Now, non-self-adhesive sequins. I mean, goodness me, what's that about? I'd got used to my self-adhesive sequins and now I've got non-self-adhesive ones. So they have potted them around and let's see, they've put 5 down, so odd number again. So 1 there, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see if I can remember where they are. And I'm going to use my take your pick tool and take a bit of putty. There we go, the putty on the end. So this should now pick these up. And I'm going to go for these dark ones here. Oh, so this is going to be fun, isn't it? Oh, there we go. And give me another one. Oh, it's got a pink one underneath. Hold on. Which are very nice. You could pick whichever colour you wanted to. But we are going for the blues. There we go. Let's pick up some more blues. Ooh, they're bigger. They are various sizes by the looks of this. Right. Got a white one under there now. Talk amongst yourselves. This is why I love self-adhesive sequins. There we go. Is there another one there? Oh, get rid of the pink. Thank you. Oh, look, see the white. Let's get rid of the white. You could put whatever you wanted to. And to be fair, you could put them on every single middle if you wanted to as well. But we're going to go. Look, I've got glue over my fingers, so I've got sequins all over the place now. There we go. So that's my 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the pièce de résistance is don't knock over your sequins like I did earlier. It's actually, I've got sequins, look, over my fingers. Get off. Tiny bit of twine, because we love a bit of twine, just as a heart. Oh, we've got a fluffy bit there. Let's get rid of that. Thank you. So, you know how I tie a ribbon, and you know that I tie a twine separately. So I tie a twine just like a shoelace, because it hasn't got a front and back. It's the same all the way around. Oh, goodness me, look at that, it's a bit close. So yeah, the same all the way around, so it really doesn't matter. It's not double-sided or anything. And then we just pull those straight bits until we get a nice cute little bow that we like. It looks kind of even. That looks quite cute, that'll do. Chop that. Try not to cut my finger. And then that's added there. So with anything small like that, I always do a glue dot. Now I've only got these funny glue dots that came with a kit to hand at the moment, but let's get rid of that one. So they've got paper on the top, so I'm just going to take the paper, come on, there we go, take the paper off so you can see the glue dot is still there. I'm going to roll it slightly because this twine is ever so small, and normally I would take the bow to the glue dot, but right now, because this is so tiny, and I've got glue all over my fingers, there. There we go, squash it down. And there we have my version of that card there. So Pretty Peacock, Whisper White, terracotta tile ink, Whisper White embossing powder, and the stamp set, a little lace with the coordinating dies. Now don't forget that you can buy it as a bundle, so you can get the stamp set and the dies with 10% off. So it gives you £47.50. It's a cling mount stamp set with 10 stamps in. But that is our version of Make a Card Monday for today. Thanks for joining me. If you do like these products, then you can just have a click below. There'll be links for all the products on there. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you don't subscribe to my channel, then just give me a Give us a thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe to the channel, and then you will be told by YouTube every time that I upload a video. So thanks very much for joining me, and I will be back with you on Facebook Wednesday, or Watch Me Wednesday as it is, Facebook Live on Wednesday, or Make a Card Monday, next Monday. Thanks very much. Bye.